Do you dream of writing a novel? When you feel the urgency to write a novel, you aren't making it up. When that urgency won't let go, there's a reason. Turn your readers into raving fans. Reveal the power of your voice and your story. Writing is an act of courage, and you have what it takes. How to Write a Novel That Sells by Lana McAra will take you across the finish line. Visit howtowriteanovelthatsells.net and take that powerful next step now.
Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where you will discover tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Here you'll find new energy, new perspectives, new resources, and new ideas that will spark your creativity into a blaze of brilliance. It's easier than you think. Be sure you visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, get out your notebook, tune in, and let's get started.
Do you write fiction with a message, with a meaning? That's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Lana McAra, and welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast. Tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction, that is, #unputdownable. Today, I'm delighted to welcome to the podcast, Malienna. Now, this young lady, 16 years old, she's got a lot to share with us. At 13 years old, she created her first series, A Lost Soul, which was inspired by the choices in life that will make you question your morals. As an average student, she felt she needed a thrill in her life. She found that in books and fantasy worlds where she could experience the life of the characters, their emotions, and their decisions through their eyes. With these many worlds and creations all playing in her head, she decided to make a world of her own in a book. Welcome, Malienna.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is amazing. I'm so excited. We met at an event recently, and I just had to get you on to my show. So tell me, where did you get your first idea for The Lost Souls?
It first started off as a simple school essay. I had something that I needed to write for an assignment, and I didn't really feel like ending the story there, so I wanted to continue and keep on writing, see how far I can get, and eventually I wanted to turn into a book, and it just turned into what it is today.
Wow, yeah. And how many pages is your book?
I believe the first one is 175, and the second one is around double that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. They're good sized books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have a parent who was a writer or a teacher who encouraged you? How did that work?
Not necessarily, but my mom did write a book. She wrote a finance book a few years ago. She didn't want to further do her career. She just wanted to do it as an experimental book.
Okay. So you did actually see her do it, although probably not very involved in finances. Yeah. Interesting. I had someone on, I don't know, last year who was 16, and I was so interested in how young people get started, because I know we adults struggle a lot of times to actually get going. So what was your motivation to get it published?
My motivation really just came for wanting to really reach out to different readers, different audiences, and share my works with them because I really enjoyed the story that I wrote. I more write to see if I can find some type of adventure in my books. I like the thrill that I found while I was writing, so I want to share that with different people and see who liked it and what type of stories that they could find or what messages they can receive from it.
Yeah, that is really awesome. So did you publish through Amazon or some other way?
I published through Amazon KDP, and I also used 2 different publishing companies, but recently I took my ebook off of them so I can go into Kindle Select so I can reach more audiences, hopefully.
Okay, I see. And how did you get your cover done?
I did it myself.
You did?
Yes, I designed the
cover.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is so amazing because I've seen your books and they're beautiful. Do you happen to have one around?
Thank you so much. Yes, I do. I have both of them. This is the first one.
Yeah.
And this is the second one.
Okay. Awesome. Now, those of you who are listening only to audio, come on over to YouTube where the action is. I'd love to have you over here. And if you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe and leave a review. Well, actually, leave a review wherever you are. That would be terrific. So are your characters based on real people? Are they totally made up, or how did you come up with them?
No, they're not based on real people. I mostly just develop the characters as the story progresses and see what kind of interactions they would have with the main character. It kind of just flows into one big story. So that's kind of how I create new characters.
Okay. Interesting. So when you're talking about your book, is it a group of people or just two people? How does that work for your story?
It starts off as two people, the main character and a little girl, and they quickly develop a small group and more support characters get introduced, but the main group still stays small and they try to just navigate the people around them.
Okay. That sounds a little bit like RPG role-playing games where you have a little group that's a team that they go here and there. I love that, by the way. My son introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm just like totally hooked on that now.
I've heard of it. Yes, my friend likes it a lot.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to finish the book?
The first book took me around 2 years because I was still figuring out how to publish everything. And the second book took me about 2 years as well, but it was because I was working on another book at the same time.
You have more than two.
Yes, the other one that I was working on during that time isn't published yet, but I'm looking forward to publishing it in April.
Okay. So you've written almost three. You're close to getting three.
Yeah.
Three out there. Yeah. It does take a long time, and I just have so much respect for you for that's a big project.
Thank you so much.
To get it done. Yeah, I mean, it is not a small thing. It is big, and there's a lot of details in it. Did you hire an editor or have someone look at it?
The first time, and yes, the second time too, I did hire an editor, but I also edited the book multiple times myself, and I went over it with a family member to revise it again.
Okay. Very good. So when you're dealing with family, this is a little did you find that it was difficult to take advice about the story? Did you, I know with me, when my family would get involved in my story, I'd be like giving them some pushback on on some things. So how was that? How did that work for you?
They did give me some advice, but it was mainly after the book was over because I really kept the first book as a personal project. So a lot of them only knew about it after it was released and after I published it.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. And then you sent it to an editor.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you find your editor?
I went on Fiverr and I looked at the qualifications of different people, the reviews, and tried to pick the best one that fit my needs.
You realize, of course, that you're about 20 years ahead of time.
Thank you.
With, going to Fiverr and all this stuff, because it took me a long time to find people, that could help me. And Fiverr is where I had my last cover made, and it came out really great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good move. Excellent move there. I mean, everything you're telling me is just like, wow, this is awesome.
Thank you.
So, when did the first book of the series come out?
It came out in 2021, but I published a second edition because I wanted to fix some mistakes that were made originally, and I published a second edition or the fixed version in 2023.
Okay, so it's been about 2 years, and then your second book came out in
December of 2024.
Okay, it just came out.
Yeah.
All right. So the series is called, go ahead and just tell us the series, and then we can look it up on Amazon. I want to get that link, put in the show notes as well.
Okay. The series is called A Lost Soul. The first book is called A Race Against Time, and the second book is called Broken Memories.
And these are fantasy books?
Yes, they're fantasy, but they're also mixed with a little bit of different genres. There's a little bit of mystery. Well, a lot of the main plots are very mystery oriented. There's a lot of adventure and action in it too, and I like the suspense.
So when it's a mystery, like they're having to solve a puzzle?
There's a little bit like a puzzle, but there's different aspects that they're trying to figure out. They're trying to figure out what this organization is trying to do with the little girl. And the main mystery around that revolves around the whole book is what happened to the little girl and how did she become like that? And what happened to their parents 15 years ago. They found out that that's kind of intertwined.
Okay. So they're trying to solve something that happened in the past that affected the little girl. And is the little girl like an orphan or is she part of the family?
She was a part of the family, but we still don't know her full story yet. But she's not an orphan. She had her mother. That has a lot to do with the story. And they all disappeared.
Oh, they all disappeared. Yeah. Okay. So when you started your second book, was it just a continuation of the same story or did it go in a different direction?
Yes, it was a continuation, but I focused on different aspects of the original story and also developed the plot a lot more.
Okay. Okay. So you took the same characters and you just brought them along more. Yeah. Okay. And is there also a mystery in the second book?
Yes, but we get a lot more answers to the questions that were previously asked. But then the more they find out, the more questions that they have, and the more they find out that it's like a way bigger problem than they originally thought it was. They thought it would be simple. They knew that it was a lot of magic involved and the situation was kind of crazy, but they didn't think that all of these problems would arise from it. So they found that it's way more complicated than originally seemed.
Oh, I see. Unexpected results, unexpected things. Yeah. That's very, very cool. So the third book, is it still the same characters or is it something different?
Yes, the third book is the same main group, but more support characters are being added that involve the story and develop the storyline more.
Okay. And is there a mystery to solve in that one too?
Yes, but I would more conclude the story. I am thinking of doing spin-offs with some of the characters, but the story would more come to a close in the third book, but there will still be some open-ended parts too.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good idea. My first series, I would take a side character and make a book out of that person, another side character, make a book out of that person. And that way you can really keep it going, because people love it. If they like the book, they want to learn more, They're like, what else? What else? And the reason I did that was because I got so much fan mail that said, what about so-and-so? What about this person? I finally said, well, I guess I better, go ahead and write something.
Hopefully I'll get there one day. Yes, that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah. So, do you have any plans for the series aside from, well, I would say getting it out there? What are your plans for getting it out there?
I plan to attend more marketing events, do more marketing campaigns, and really try to see if I can reach an audience on social media and try to develop the people that are actually reading and interested in my book and try to tend to them.
Yes. One of the best advice I ever got, and by the way, I have 46 published titles. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. So I just got some really good advice last year. I'm telling you all that to tell you that I just learned something, last year. And that is that if you find someone who really loves your books, they just love them all and they can't wait for the next one, ask them if you can interview them.
Okay.
Because if you can interview them, then you can ask them questions about places they like to go. Like I interviewed my ideal reader for my last book, and she loves the theater. And she also loves wellness fairs where people are doing sound healing and Reiki and stuff like that. And so knowing that, then I know that those wellness fairs are a good place for me to have a book table.
Okay.
Or she also gets a mocha cappuccino every day at 10 o'clock. So coffee shop would be a good place.
Yes, it would.
So if you interview your best reader, you'll learn a lot about how to market and where to go, where you can have a book table and be very successful with them. Because we were together at the Sunshine State Book Festival. There were so many authors piled into the room, so crammed, it was a miracle if anybody even stopped to talk to you. But if you go to a wellness fair, whatever it is, there's only going to be 2 or 3 authors there. And so when people who like books walk by, they're like, oh, books. And then they come and they stop and they talk to you. So, so that is amazing. So what's next? You've got your 3rd book almost done. What's next?
The next step for me would probably be focusing on another series. It's called The Lights Within. Probably want to develop that more. I really like the story that's going on, and I found myself interested in the characters a lot. So I'm really excited for that story to come out.
Okay. And you were mentioning like challenging their morals, like they have to make judgments that might go against their morals. So that's a moral judgment. So what was the dilemma? What was the dilemma that they had to choose that would stress them out? How did you work with that?
A lot of them each have their own problems and a really complicated past. The main character, she's trying to navigate this inner battle that she has with herself, and the more she finds out, the more frustrated and revengeful she gets. So she's more of an anti-hero. She doesn't really go by the rules, and she's trying to still please everyone in her group while still wanting to find revenge and still keeping her hatred down.
Okay, so she's trying to be a good person, but yet she's got like rage or something, right? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, wow. Yeah, that is a moral dilemma. And you wonder when she's going to step across the line.
Yes, and that's the main problem that they have within their small group. It's seeing each other. They don't really trust each other, and they keep a lot of secrets because their own trust issues and what they've been through. So they're trying to see who they can trust and how they can trust each other, but they still stay together tightly in a group.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that, because if you're in a hostile territory where you're not sure who the enemies are, I mean, you're going to stick with the familiar, even though, you may not trust them 100%. They're still your crew, right? Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I love being here.
And thank you for being with us today. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Thank you for tuning into the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where we share tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Remember to visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Fiction Writers Podcast.